It's been 2 years since Overwatch 2's release, and 1 year since my last review. I've played Overwatch for 8 years. It's what I do full time. But I'll be the first to admit that I'm biased. I'm biased towards seeing the game succeed. That doesn't mean I won't critique the game. It means the opposite. I need the trash guy to come take out the trash, otherwise it's gonna pile up, start to stink, I'm gonna get flies, rodents, and whatever disease they bring with them, and that's gonna eventually spread to me, and I'm gonna get sick and die. So in today's video, we're gonna assess the state of Overwatch, what it's done, what it's fixed, and where it might be headed. First, we're just gonna rip off the band-aid. One of the biggest selling points for the 2 in Overwatch 2 is that it would have 2 main game modes, PvP and PvE. The problem is, 2 years later, the only new PvE content we have to show is Alari's Pylon. Last year, we had story missions, and that stunk worse than a porta potty at the fair. But now that porta potty's gone, you can't access it unless they decide to bring it back. Not only that, but there's been a ton of layoffs at Blizzard, and many from the Overwatch team. We're talking people ranging from the game designers, artists, animators, narrative, members of the lore team, you name it. And not just from earlier this year. According to a recent email, there's more to come at the start of next year. I just want to say I wouldn't wish unemployment upon anyone, and I hope these people can continue to find success in their field. Except whoever invented souvenirs. I'm actively praying on your downfall. With all that being said, I'd say PvE is dead in every aspect. Skill trees, story missions, and I wouldn't expect big changes coming out of the 20th year of Junkenstein's Revenge. But worse than all that, storytelling through the cinematics has reached an all-time low. We went from animated shorts with incredible fights, amazing art, and writing so good it can make a grown man cry within a few minutes, to the recent uploads. We got a Malga short and an origin story, which was an alright out of 10, but then we got Venture, who got a very forgettable 50-second video, and then Juno, who got an uninspiring CGI showcase with a story that could be summed up as country girl kicks rock and musters up the courage to go to big city. Just replace country and city with Mars and Earth. Oh, and here's a tangent. What's up with the massive inconsistencies in character art? I understand different artists have different art styles, but it's like they were prompted to draw characters based off memory. I mean, you can't tell me these aren't just different people cosplaying the same person. Anyways, as bad as all that sounds, it's worth remembering that 99% of the time, when people play Overwatch, they're playing the PvP. And so the question is, how has that held up over the past year? In the past year, we've gotten 3 new heroes, 2 hero reworks, 4 new maps, 2 map reworks, and big changes to ranked. Let's talk about the new heroes first. We got Malga, and everybody hated that. I'm just gonna keep it short. A tank-busting tank with lifesteal might just be bad hero design. After Malga, we got Venture, who is really fun to play, and I'd go as far as to say they're one of the most fun DPS in the game. But if I had to say who takes the prize for the most fun hero released, it would be the next one, Juno. This hero checks off all the boxes, fun to play as, with, and against. I could go on about all the things they got right with her, but I kind of already made a video like that. As for the 2 hero reworks, Roadhog got a new ability and a change to Vape. Needless to say, that was a flop. I mean, who would have guessed? It's Roadhog. The whole character's a flop. The other rework was Sombra. She got a new ability and some tweaks. In the end, she became 10 times more fun to play and just as unfun to play against. And apparently, they're looking to make changes to her again. They said that they wanted to mess with her stealth duration, which honestly is probably a good idea because infinite stealth's kind of broken. On the map side of things, we got Samoa, a new control map, beautiful location, and personally, I love control maps, so it's a win in my book. Next up, we got Runasapi, once again, beautiful location, and I mean, it's another push map, what can I say? But then we got a new game mode, Clash, which has given us a nice little throwback to Anubis and Hanamura. This game mode has been pretty conflicting with the player base, and the main reason is it plays out really fast compared to other game modes. Personally, I think it's a good thing. Better to lose in 5 minutes or less than suffer the mental anguish of playing Havana during a Widow diff for 10 to 20 minutes. Speaking of Widow, it's also worth noting we got a rework to both Junkertown and Colosseo that make hiding from one-shots a little more convenient. Now let's move on to the big topic of this year's changes to monetization. The game is no longer pay to win. They made it so that players don't have to grind or pay to unlock new heroes. Instead, anyone can play them anytime, unless your teammate locks it off you. There's so many reasons why paywalling heroes was a bad idea, but in the end, we protested, they listened, and gamers win. As for the Battle Pass, they changed the system so that completing it earns prisms, which allows you to buy any mythic. This is great for new players, especially people that want that Season 1 Genji skin but they weren't around for it, and terrible for people that were around for it and value their skins based off rarity. As for the cosmetic quality of the Battle Pass, I personally feel there's been a drop, but maybe the stuff they're coming out with just isn't for me. I just think they need to make more skins that are wacky and different, and less of the trying to look cool skins. Just to use an example, Orisa's Mythic versus the Rubber Ducky shop skin. Let's be real, Rubber Ducky clears. Continuing with the Battle Pass, you can grind the free part of it for its basic currency, which is what you use to unlock most skins. I missed that in my last year video. This year, you can also earn the premium currency for free, which is nice, because if you don't want to spend a dime on the game, you can earn every other Battle Pass, or if you really want a shop exclusive skin, you can eventually earn it. As far as shop prices in free-to-play games go, Overwatch is still about average. They do this thing where they show a bundle for something like a mythic weapon priced at $40, and everybody loses their mind because they think it's $40 for a weapon. But in reality, you can unlock the Battle Pass and just spend your prisms on the weapon. So technically, you can get it for free if you're patient, $10 if you're a little less patient, and $40 if you're really impatient. The only thing we truly have to pay cash for are collab skins, and if you don't have the money right away, don't fall into the trap of thinking limited time means it'll never come back. They've already brought back several skins that were labeled that. Besides the typical shady sales tactics, we gotta give credit where it's due. The game has made incredible improvements for the free-to-play player, but if I could change one thing, I'd still say that purchasing a Battle Pass and completing it should earn you enough currency for the next one, rather than every other one. Fortnite does it and gives you more than enough currency, so why can't Overwatch? Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the always hot topic, that is game balance. I'm just gonna say it. Balance this year is up there for the best year of Overwatch balance ever. Yup, I know what you're thinking. Yeatle, who's your dealer? Cause I need what you're having. What I'm saying isn't that crazy when you realize that every year of Overwatch balance has been a shit show. So even though we had Mauga this year, a disaster hero broken from concept, the people complained, and he got reasonably fixed within a month. And in case anyone forgot, we complained about goats and double shield in Overwatch 1, and how long were we eating that? More or less a year each, right? So not only have they been a lot more responsive when things are problematic, but Season 9 had arguably the best balance patch Overwatch has ever gotten. Projectile sizes got increased, health pools also got increased, most 2-shots got nerfed, and the goal of less random kills was achieved. It doesn't sound like much, but it made the game generally less frustrating to play. We also got global out-of-combat health regen, and I mean, just try playing Marvel Rivals and you'll quickly realize that it was one of the best quality of life changes. And another thing we got was the DPS healing debuff, so things actually die when the DPS click on them. All this isn't to say that the balance team got it perfect and they didn't have their fair share of misses, but they aren't missing as bad as they did in the past years, and for the first time ever, they're showing signs of improvement. I know it sounds like I'm kissing ass here, but there's this thing called positive reinforcement. It's a very simple concept. If you reward good behavior, it increases the likelihood of that good behavior happening again. So, if you like this video, be sure to like this video, maybe even subscribe and turn the bell icon on. But if you don't, do nothing. And if enough people do nothing, I'll consider it a flop and never make anything similar again. So keep that concept in mind, because now we're going to talk about the potential return of 6v6. Overwatch 2's game director Aaron Keller made a really well-written blog going in depth to explain the shift from 6v6 to 5v5. I made a video going over it, but to give you guys a very simplified TLDR, they felt that the game was too teamy and didn't leave enough room for individual impact. Not only that, but the introduction of role queue dramatically increased queue times. The reason for that is the matchmaker makes games based off role distribution and not just off of how many people are queuing. The lack of tank players made queue times go up, so they removed a tank from each team and it made it go down. Normally, that's where the story would end, but the blog post acknowledges that many people in the community vocalize their preference for 6v6, and so Aaron Keller says, "We want to make a game that players want to play." Likely in the next few seasons, we'll have a chance to play iterations of 6v6, and depending on community feedback, they'll consider bringing it back as a main mode. So if you're a hardcore 6v6er, that'll be your time to prove it. So here's my opinion on it. For a lot of tank players, it's going to be a way better experience than 5v5. Having another tank takes off so much pressure and just opens up so many plays. But for the damage and support players, I don't think it's the magic pill some people think it is. I'm speaking as an Overwatch fossil. I was there. Supports and DPS, they definitely had less impact back then. But who knows? With all the map reworks, new heroes, and balance changes, players will have more tools than they had before to solve the problems they couldn't before. And as a result, it could be the best version of Overwatch. No point in arguing about it, we'll just have to get there and find out. So, just like last year, our final topic for the video is ranked. They made the whole system a lot more transparent. Placements now show a predicted rank, winning and losing updates a progress bar to the next rank, and depending on the circumstances of the game, it'll say why you may have lost or gained more than usual. Outside of that, games now show the lobby range when you enter a game, and you can press tab to see it mid-game. Personally, I still like the numerical system of Overwatch 1 better, but the progress bar is cool too, I guess. They also removed ranked grouping restrictions, making it easier for someone, say, in Platinum to play with their friend in Bronze. The trade-off being they play against similar groups and they gain or lose less rank. They also did this rank reset, which knocks people back a couple ranks, and they plan to do it a few times a year to mix things up. Oh, and they also added a rank above Grandmaster called Champion. I think it does make things a little more competitive, but that's for the handful of people that can actually reach it. Which, as of right now, it's probably like 30 people per region. What they really need to do is cut down on top 500. The title kind of loses its cool factor when it's borderline a participation trophy. You have people at the bottom of Diamond getting it because it's the start of the season and most players don't have 50 games won. And then on the combined leaderboard, there's not even 500 people who get it. My suggestion is that they combine all the regions into one leaderboard again, or even cut the leaderboard down to top 100 or something. Right now, Champion gets about like 100 people trying, but if top 500 was difficult, it would get a couple thousand people trying. As far as competitive rewards go, they did announce they'd be coming out with these competitive signature things, so yeah, that might motivate some people to grind ranked. So to recap everything, Overwatch PvE is likely dead, and I wouldn't expect story missions to make a comeback either. The future of Overwatch's story may as well be dead until they decide to bring back good quality cinematics and or start a movie or TV series. The League of Legends Netflix series got me to try League of Legends again. The Cyberpunk animated series got me to play Cyberpunk again. I'm sure that if Overwatch did something for Overwatch, a lot of people would play Overwatch again. As for the PvP content, the free-to-play experience is almost the best it could be. The Battle Pass could still be better, the balancing has been better than it's ever been, 6v6 is on the horizon, rank can still use some work, but it's improved. And you know what? For the first time ever, I can say I'd recommend Overwatch to a friend. I don't have to convince them to spend $40, $30, or even $20 on a game that they might not like, because guess what? It's free! It's getting updated, and the devs are listening. So this year, no buts or ifs. I recommend it. It's just a good game, and it's getting better. Hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, do the thing. And if you didn't, be angry, I guess. As always, thank you for watching, and good luck on the grind.